You know, a lot of people think that we're living in a reality that's like a movie, like it's not real. And I thought it'd be worth talking about that for a while, and you wanted to as well,
Mm.
because in some ways it takes away from the seriousness of the decisions we make to run our lives. It sort of lets us off the hook. That if this is a reality, if it's a projection of some kind, and it's not real, why bother doing anything? Why not just commit
Mm.
suicide, and
Mm.
get off this portal?
Yeah.
But it's real, and it has something that if we think about and try to overanalyze, it gets us out of the moment. And that's a dangerous thing because then what's the point of anything?
Yeah. And what's your responsibility?
Oh, that's even better.
You know.
You've been given a gift of being here. I think it's a wonderful gift, and it's the moment, and it's how deep can you go in the moment, and whether it's an illusion or it's not, to me doesn't make any difference because when something happens to me, if the world is real when I touch it,
Mm.
that's real enough to make it worthwhile.
Mm.
And you're right, it's a responsibility to the best you can. Otherwise, you're going to suffer.
Yeah. Or you're going to be putting the blame on somebody that's running the simulation.
Exactly.
And that's very seductive because if I'm that kind of person, I would say, wow, I'd like to believe there's some entity, some consciousness beyond Earth or within Earth that's running the simulation, and I'm just now a victim of the simulation. That is a very dangerous place to be.
Yeah, and what would be the point of it?
Maybe it's true. Just make believe somebody is running the simulation.
Okay.
Does that mean I no longer have free will? Does that mean I no longer have responsibility to respond to the stimuli and lead the life from the heart? No, it doesn't. It means that even more so, I have that responsibility.
Well, you're here now,
Right,
and
exactly.
there are things that you experience that bring you pleasure and bring you displeasure. There are things that happen in the world that make it challenging. It's dystopian in a lot of ways, and it's magical in other ways that are beautiful. You can choose the one you want to explore and be with. For me, it's a beautiful thing to be able to feel the things that I do that separate me from a AI robot.
Yes.
There I could see no point at all of having a robot society. I mean, what would be the point of that? There is nothing in that means anything because there's no consciousness. Now, consciousness is real because that's how we operate. Whether it has some other far-reaching meaning or not is kind of irrelevant. Sometimes I have the illusion of thinking that I chose to be Len Saputo before I came here, and now I'm just reliving that because I wanted to see what that was like.
Hmm.
And maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but I've come to the conclusion it doesn't matter because I'm here living this and I feel it. It's real from that point of view, and it's an experiential thing. How are you going to define what an experiential thing is really? Is that an illusion?
Well, the basic piece comes down to, are you willing to own this moment?
Yeah.
Are you willing to be totally present in this moment, whether it's a simulation or not?
Mm-hmm.
If I give my power to the simulator,
then what's the point?
Then I'm sitting here and I've just assumed a victim mentality. So I believe there's two kinds of people. There's victims and there's leaders. Not victims and aggressors, or it's not like that's not the opposites. The opposites are you're either a victim, that means you've put the power on somebody else, or you're a leader and you've taken that power and owned your sovereignty. So it's not even a leader and a follower. Because there are some good followers. Some people their karma in this life, they're really good followers. They're doing wonderful things as being a follower. So I used to think followers and leaders. Now I realize victims and leaders. So in a simulation, if you can own the power of your leadership, then your power inherently is more powerful than the simulator, the one who runs the simulation. If you don't, you're a victim. Game over. You've tilted the pinball machine.
I'm not going to play the game.
I'm not going to play the game. So once you are in your leadership role, we navigate through this reality as the generator of this reality.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's captivating. It's filled with a lot of emotion and a lot of physical nature. It has unlimited potential spiritually. Somebody thinks that's a simulated thing. That's fine. They can think what they want.
But if they think,
I'm in the moment here, enjoying what I'm experiencing, and I don't care what it's called.
Because you own this moment.
I own this moment.
And people say, own, that sounds so powerful. No, own means I have embraced fully this moment. I know that I'm infinite consciousness knowing itself through me, through my experience. And when that experience comes through a heart lens, a heart resonant lens, now it really, all the rest of it, simulators, simulation, aliens, it doesn't matter because I supersede all that by being a sovereign consciousness expressing itself. And I'll choose to, as much as I can, to bring that into heart resonance. That's a great place to be.
It's the only place you can be that makes sense.
Without being a victim.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a victim.
Yeah, but many people are, and they don't realize. That's why I try to use that difference between leader and victim, because people say, I'm not a victim. But then when you dissect and disassemble their thinking, you have to face the fact that you've given up your power to something else. I am not willing to do that because I realize that this whole concept of illusion isn't new. This simulation concept isn't a modern high-tech video game metaphor. The Hindus thought about this in the ancient Vedas.
And what do they conclude?
That this world is illusion. We are living in illusion. But you have to go in deep what they thought.
Yeah.
It's an illusion because nothing exists without a reflection of my participation in my perception of it.
Oh, wow.
So one person can see a situation that looks so terrible, and another person looks at the same situation and sees it as an opportunity. That's the illusion.
And it is experiential.
It's experiential because that thing on its own, you're not a victim of it. You are a perceiver of it. And as you perceive it, you can say, I will bring a heart-centered, empowered perception to it, and I'm going to bring this situation into an amazing next step. Or, oh my gosh, what a terrible thing happened, and you become very sympathetic, and you sympathize with that situation, and now you're a victim of it. So yes, it's an illusion, because nothing exists on its own. It all is based on your perception of it. Experiential.
That's good enough. That's quite a gift, isn't it?
If you even just lived your life that way, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's not a game. It's a game changer.
You change the game, you change the rules, you change the simulation, everything. You can't be simulated when you own the reality because the reality comes from your perception. Now your work is a whole life work to say, what's my perception? What am I going to contribute to this perception?
Well, what matters? And for me, it's always been building community. Yeah. And defining what love is as a personal thing that is forgiving. And as I've said so many times before, and for graciously accepting, but not for taking. And if I can feel that way, which I do, it makes my perception really comfortable because it's fun and it feels good. And to see somebody else thrive is exciting for me. Sometimes I watch some silly things on the internet that are just like singers who are in competition. And to see them pouring their hearts out and have the audience receive it and the tears that they have because they work so hard makes me want to cry because I think, gosh, that's so beautiful. Somebody's worked so hard and now they've had a fulfilling moment and I feel so happy for them that it affects the way I feel. It's not like a competition anymore. It used to be when I was younger. When I was a tennis player, I wanted to beat the other person. Well, towards the end of my career, it wasn't about that at all. I mean, there's always I wanted to see how good I was, but I looked at my partner as a dancer. We were in a dance together.
Beautiful.
and seeing what they could do and what I could do, and see what my creative nature could offer to the relationship. And sometimes I would win, sometimes I would lose. And at the beginning, when I was first learning it, it was like I wanted to rope in an oak tree if I didn't win. But towards the end, it was like, well, you were better than I was today. And I learned some stuff from you. Thank you for the dance.
That's freeing. That's big.
It's freeing because now I could just be me. And it's not like I can't be deeply focused in it. I am deeply focused in what I do, not just on a tennis court. In fact, I don't even play tennis anymore. It's been 20 years since I played tennis. And that's a relief because I don't have to work at a competitive thing that has a lot of negative aspects to it. It's not what the culture needs. The culture needs community, where the weakest link of that community matters a lot to me. And I want to work on supporting that person. And that's what my job as a doctor was like. And it's your job as a healer as well. And that's what makes us thrive on our relationship, which is a beautiful thing for 25 years.
And that's the nature of being a leader. People think a leader, I have to have hundreds of people. No, a leader, you might just first have to lead yourself. Lead from the heart. Okay, that's the first level of leadership, I believe. Everything from there.
I agree.
Yeah, it might be just the children that you're responsible for, or your partner, or your family, and then your business. I mean, leadership can take on any kind of iteration of expression, but to be a leader and not a victim is big. And then when you're a leader, you are a model. So just as you talked about with your experience, you were modeling a way to be. Does that mean you expect everybody around you to be that way? No, just the opposite. You have one responsibility, to be ultimately selfish. Because if I can model a loving, heart-centered person, then I'm going to be kind and empathetic. And if I can only focus on that, I'm setting up a resonance that other people will say, hey, wow, that looks good. Maybe I can try that.
Yeah.
And then if you set good boundaries, what I try to do is I don't want to be around people who aren't like that. I won't spend my time with that. I'm going to help people who ever want to be helped, but who I want to keep in my world and my circle are going to be the people who are willing to say, I'd like to model something that is more heart-centered. And then that's how you build community.
I'm learning more about being a good follower as a leader, because what does a leader, an elected leader, for example, do? That person is supposed to be responsive to their constituency. So you have to know what they want. And to do that, you have to ask them. It's one of the things that we do in PeopleUnited now is we've changed from being leaders who are sharing with people what we know and think that they should understand to shutting up and asking them what they understand and listening to what they have to say and putting them in a group like we're doing with our videos to be able to have them drop the differences that they have, Democrat, Republican, ethnic difference, race difference, all these things that separate us. And if you can learn to be a good listener and a good follower, then you can make decisions that are responsible to the job that you were given as a leader.
Right. Because a good leader has to be a good follower.
Has to be.
Or they can't model the following for people who need to follow for that particular phase in their life.
That's
just
right.
like a good teacher has to be a good student. It's the same thing. We'll call the teacher the extreme yang and the student the extreme yin, the receptive yin and the offering yang. Same thing with a leader. The leader is a yang role, a very outward kind of energy that's kind of more of a masculine type of energy, not man-woman, but a masculine energy.
Right.
Doesn't matter of gender. And then you've got the student who is in the receiving mode, the yin reception mode. If we don't know how to harmonize that and model both of those, we can expect a world that has good students and good teachers and good leaders and good followers. So that's the beauty of this. So once we embody heart resonance, in that heart space is a beautiful melding of yin and yang, not a melted equanimity, but an extreme embrace of the extreme yang and extreme yin. That's our power. People miss it.
It's a melding of the vibrational fields, the energy fields.
And being at peace with it, because that at once a student can be a teacher and a teacher can become a student, a leader can become a follower, and a good follower can become a leader. and you model that singularity, that moment of the merging of yin and yang. That's the alchemy.
Well, that's what this country has lost. The division of powers, if you will. The executive branch has become not a follower.
No, pure yang, masculine.
Nobody's asking me as a citizen what I think about what they should do. What they've got is people who have elected them that they now have favors to owe back because they've spent millions or more of dollars to get them elected, and then their responsibility is no longer to their constituents who are we the people. It's their constituents who are corporation owners or people who are oligarchs. That's not America. That's not how it was designed to be. That's what it's become. And it's not just the executive branch, it's all three branches.
Yeah, we can't depend on these people who don't understand the essence of leader as a follower as a leader. They don't embody that. So we have leadership now that does not embody the essence of leadership. It only embodies the extreme, and that comes from fear.
So they're not leaders of the constituency.
Not anymore.
They don't represent it. I mean, they're supposed to. We've elected them, but that's not what they do.
But people live under the illusion of this, and that's the mistake. Once we wake up, once we don't get angry, but when we
get angry sometimes.
We have to be careful. Yeah, we have to be careful
of that. Yeah,
it's easy to get mad.
It's a knee jerk.
But then that will lead you to become a victim.
That's right.
So when you say, I understand it, yes, I'm angry, but I'm not going to sustain that anger. I'm going to turn that anger into discernment. And I'm going to use that powerful discernment to make good choices, not comply, and empower myself with that vibration that enough people in the community do it. Watch how quick the leadership changes.
Sure, especially if it's responsive to its constituency.
Or it has no power anymore. It realizes it has no power over a conscious, sovereign base of citizens.
That's right.
That's the evolution, not the revolution.
It's beautiful.
Right? And that's what we always talk about. We don't want a revolution. Revolution just means same old shit going over and over again. We don't need that anymore.
That's right. New leader, but same thing.
That's right.
Evolution is a whole different story, and that's a rare thing.
But because it's rare in an individual.
That's right.
Remember, it's got to start here. I've got to evolve myself.
That's right.
I've got to move myself out of conditioned mind into heart resonant intuitive mind first. Every person who models that becomes a leader. When you have a constituency that is moved toward leadership, even 60% of the time, ideally 80% of the time, but let's say 60% of the time, you're no longer a victim, but now you have assumed a leadership role in yourself.
It's a relief to be able to know what to do because you're a follower as well. And your job is to be a follower of the people who have put you in the place where you are a leader. It's interesting.
It is interesting. But the constituency, no matter what constituency you're in, if you're in your business or your community and
right.
government, the individuals have to model it. When we model it, we send out a vibration, and that field is affected. That's how you change things. But if the people don't realize their power and say, I'm powerless, it all sucks, I'm a victim, you've just given the power away to the idiots.
Right.
And it's so people do have something they can do. Every person has a responsibility.
Well, a lot of people have given up that.
Well, that's our task is to remind people,
them
you've got more power than you ever believed, and it's not in force. It's not in the extreme yang, forceful side. It's in your ability to tap into that yin, divine feminine within everybody. This is why women are so powerful. It's why women are really the leaders of the future.
Absolutely.
Because they haven't deviated from that real
heart-centered
place. And this is why women have been subjugated through history. Because once we moved out of the Greco world of goddess worship, Athena and Diana and those powerful women warrior models, that wasn't, people think, oh, that was a woman. No, it was the feminine within everybody, man and female.
Yeah, it gets suppressed in men.
Well, it got suppressed in the Roman Empire, and then the whole next evolution of the last 2,000 years, mostly 1,500, and especially the last 500, has been to eliminate the female power and exalt the male power, and that's the pendulum disaster we're in.
Yeah.
But it's great because nothing sustains in one end of the spectrum too long.
Yeah.
Our job now is to model that back to heart center And when we combine the divine feminine and divine masculine, oh my gosh, nobody could stop us.
Well, as one of my friends, a woman, has always told me, she says, love prevails.
Always.
It does. You just have to give it time, and you have to experience what happens when you don't have a loving approach to things, because you will suffer.
Right.
It's like rowing upstream.
Exactly. And then when you have zero tolerance and say, I will do the best I can in most of the moments of my day to be in heart resonance, and have zero tolerance and know every time you deviate, it sucks.
It's a
It hurts.
relief. It's a relief to be heart-centered.
It's freeing.
Because you don't have to do anything that is a job.
Right.
It becomes something that is a desire. You want to. You're motivated. You're inspired to do it.
But you gotta release the attachments to the conditioning. Every time you hear that voice, no, I got to make more money. Every time you hear that voice, oh, I've got to be better and stronger. No, I've got to be the louder one. I've got to be the smarter one. Those are all conditioned voices. They're not yours.
Yeah, they're learned.
They are learned. And once you realize you're giving your power, that's the biggest victimization people don't realize. The secret is the biggest victimization is what you become a victim to of your conditioning. And when you release that victimization, all of a sudden something magic happens. Then you can do the rest of the steps. This is the journey. But it's easy when you come back to heart, because your heart, intuitive mind knows all this.
The universe is built to express that.
It's the only thing that I can trust. I can't trust conditioning, because that comes from some human who had some perspective from conditioning. It's a cascading conditioning throughout history. And a lot of it's epigenetic. It's in our system that we don't even know. It's in our subconscious. Our choice now, because we know enough and we can talk about this enough, that we can consciously take the steps to change that. Every person has this power.
Amen.
Amen.